Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Marissa from MB's Creative Creations, and today, part of the fall series, I have a crocheting video. It's only the basics of the tools that we're going to be using for crocheting coming up throughout this fall series, and hopefully we'll carry it on thereafter. So to start off with, I'm going to review the tools that we need, like I said earlier, and that would be here. So let's go ahead and start off with our hooks. These are our crocheting hooks. As you can see, it's just a little hook here, as you can see here. And then the next thing we have are yarn needles. We have scissors, of course, and then yarn. So this is really all you need to crochet. Now let's get into our crocheting hooks. The ones I have here are aluminum. There are all kinds of styles as well as brands, and it doesn't necessarily matter the style or the brand. The ones, like I said, I have here are aluminum. They also have plastic, there's bamboo, there's ergonomical crocheting hooks. There's just all kinds out there, so it doesn't necessarily matter. I picked these up just kind of blindly, not necessarily realizing that there was a variety out there. So what I liked about them is that they came in a set. So I guess other than anywhere else in the United States, they will go by millimeters from my understanding. So for example, this hook here is a 3.75 millimeter, but here in the US we considered it our F hook, or our F5 basically. So if a pattern calls for an F5 hook or an F hook, then in US terms you would know that this would be the hook that you would look for. Or sometimes it'll ask for a 3.75, you know that it's the same thing as the F5 hook. And as you can see, the sizes, it's very, very small. So the next size is a 4 millimeter hook, which is this one here, and that one is a G hook. And then the next one here is a H hook, which is a 5 millimeter hook. And then we have a 5.5 millimeter hook, which is this one here, and that one is an I9 hook. And then we have a J hook, which is a 6 millimeter hook, which is this one here, and then a 6.5 millimeter hook, which is a K hook. Different brands have different colors, so let me just kind of explain that. So because Susan Bates has this set and these colors, and they're different sizes, as we just discussed the different sizes in here, doesn't necessarily mean that all hooks are going to be the same color. For example, my H hook here originally with this package was blue, but I misplaced it, so I went in and just purchased a H hook on its own, and it came out to be this gold color, which is kind of similar to this one, just a little deeper. So don't go off by the color basically. So if you see that I have a gold H hook here, you have to make sure that you're getting the right size of hook, and well, yeah, the right size of hook for whatever your pattern is calling for. So then the next thing would be our yarn needles, which I have here, and these come in a variety of sizes also, you know, so that you have, of course, different types of yarn and different sizes of yarn. So you have, this came in a set of 4, and I actually misplaced one of them. And this is from the brand Boy. I picked these ones up at Walmart, and they were under $2, so really inexpensive. I've not had to replace the missing one because my yarn does fit with all the other ones. So basically, when I am done with my work and I snip off my yarn, then I will go in and yarn in any loose ends basically, so that my work that I just finished doesn't come undone. So as you can see here, you can't really see where I weaved it in, but it would have been here on this corner. and that is just like I said earlier, so that our work does not come undone. So that's what we would need yarning needles for. They also have stitch marks, which they're like little plastic. So sometimes some patterns, depending what you're working on, calls for you to leave a stitch mark. So you would leave it's like a little hook, so you can use those, and I'm sorry I don't have any to show you, but I really don't use them. Or you can just use maybe like a safety pin, and that's usually what I do use, is I use a safety pin, and I'll just wherever my last stitch is, where it calls for me to mark it, I'll just put a safety pin in there, then I'll continue with my work. Our yarn is also different in style, not necessarily the brands, but just literally in style. And what I mean by that is that this little ball of yarn here is 100% acrylic, and these two here are cotton, and this one here is a mixture of cotton and acrylic, as to where this one right here is a mixture of polyester and acrylic. So they have different types of yarn. Also, there's wool also that I can think of off the top of my head, and it does matter. So what I mean by that is that, for example, I want to use this yarn here, and I buy these cotton ones because anytime I'm crocheting something, I like to use cotton for my kitchen. Also, it's really good with absorbing like any maybe liquids or anything like that I've noticed. I love using little kitchen towels, as this one here, and I wipe down my surfaces, I wipe down my stove. I have a dark colored stove, so when I wipe down my stove with a cotton dish towel like this, I am amazed at how clean my stove is. It is streak free. I can't even express how clean it is, and I just absolutely love it. So when I tried one, I made one, I've never ever gone back to anything but I use these, so I make them frequently. Okay, and so yeah, so cotton, I like to use cotton for, like I was saying earlier, kitchen and bathroom. All these other ones, basically, you know, they can go for just whatever project you're looking for. Acrylic can be used for as a blanket. This is a mixture of both, so this like cotton and acrylic could be used for, like, you know, maybe what matters is that you do match your hook to your yarn, and that is what I wanted to explain. So if you look at your label, this is a sugar and cream, and I picked this one up at Michael's. I'm going to turn it over. Not only is it going to give me the color, so this is in the color jute. Yeah, so the label here will tell me the size of the hook, and if I was going to knit, it's also going to give me the size. So if I was knitting, I'll be using my 4.5 millimeter needles, or yes, and then in my crochet hook, I'm going to be using the 5 millimeter, which is my H hook. It also gives me washing instructions, or, you know, care instructions. It just says, you know, no ironing or any of that sort. And it also tells me that it is 100% cotton. And then it has a worsted weight of 4, so it has a 4 here. If I turn on over to this side, it's of course telling me the worsted weight of 4 ply, and it's 2.5 ounces. If you go by grams, it's 70.9 grams. The 4 ply just means that in this strand here, there are 4 little pieces together, as you can see here. So that's basically what is explaining. And another difference that you can tell is that the cotton are a little more dense, they're a little heavier, as opposed to, say, the acrylic. It is very, very light. The texture definitely feels very, very different. Even as in this one's extremely soft, and this one's fairly soft, but just the feel of it, even when you're crocheting, is differently too. So you would have to handle your yarn differently, and we'll get into that in the next video. That is it for this video. I hope this video was very helpful to all the beginner crocheters out there, or the ones who want to get started in crocheting. Like I said, this was just a very basics. There is a lot of things I still don't know, so if there's something that I didn't cover and you guys know about it, please leave a comment down below. I would love to learn more and hear from you guys. I'm always up for tips, and I would like this to be a learning platform for everyone who's interested in crocheting, and even those that are not but would like to learn a little bit more about it in some form. If you have any additional questions, as into what we covered today, or anything maybe about crocheting that I can answer for you guys, please do not hesitate to leave me a comment down below so I can get back to you. So next week's video is going to be on the stitching. So we're going to learn, that's when we're going to start learning on the different types of stitching that there are in crocheting. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you really enjoyed this video, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell for uploads. We have an amazing fall series going on, and going to carry into the holiday season as well.